5 doctor-approved steps to start your day right. If your mornings look like this, slam the snooze button, grab your phone, chug coffee, and rush out the door. You've already set yourself up for a day of stress, blood sugar crashes, and foggy thinking before you've even opened your laptop. I see it all the time. Patients tell me, "Doc, I don't know why I'm so exhausted by 10 a.m. I got 8 hours of sleep." But it's not the number of hours. It's how you launch your body into the day. Fixing your mornings isn't about some perfect 2-hour routine or a $90 green powder. It comes down to a handful of small, practical steps. The kind that reset your brain, stabilize your energy, and make your entire day easier to manage. I've watched patients transform just by changing the first 90 minutes of their day. One guy came to me with borderline high blood pressure, constant mid-morning headaches, and anxiety that kicked in before noon. We didn't start with medication, we started with his mornings. 3 months later, his blood pressure was down, his focus was sharper, and he told me something I'll never forget. "Doc, I finally feel like I'm steering the day instead of chasing it." Most of us treat mornings like a fire drill, rushing, multitasking, blasting our bodies with caffeine, stress, and screens before we've even stabilized our system. But the science is clear. Your morning routine sets the tone for hormones, blood sugar, and even mental clarity for the rest of the day. So here's the good news. You don't need an influencer's 15-step ritual. You don't need to meditate for an hour on a mountaintop. 5 small, doctor-approved steps, the kind I've tested on myself and my patients, can completely reset how you start your day. Step 1. Hydrate before anything else. To be honest, I used to think coffee was hydration. I'd wake up, slam a mug before even brushing my teeth, and wonder why I felt jittery, thirsty, and drained by 11 a.m. Turns out I was starting every day already behind. Here's the science in plain English. While you're asleep, your body loses fluid through breathing and sweating. Go 7 or 8 hours without water, and you wake up mildly dehydrated, even if you don't feel thirsty right away. That dehydration bumps up your cortisol, thickens your blood a bit, and makes your heart and brain work harder than they should, first thing in the morning. That's why the first thing I recommend before coffee, before emails, before anything, is water. A full glass, 12 to 16 ounces. If you want to be precise, add a pinch of electrolytes or a squeeze of lemon. That tiny tweak helps replace sodium and potassium, which support nerve function and energy balance. Here's the kicker. When patients make this one change, they tell me the mid-morning crash fades. They feel more alert without doubling their caffeine intake. Coffee isn't the villain here, but if you start with it on an empty, dehydrated system, you're stacking stress on stress. Step 2. Light exposure. Within 30 minutes, one of my patients used to complain about grogginess that lasted until lunch. He swore he was getting good sleep. 8 hours in bed, no late-night caffeine, but every morning felt like he was dragging cement. We finally traced it back to his mornings. He was waking up in the dark, scrolling his phone, and not seeing daylight until he walked into the office around 9:30. Step 3. Move, but don't overdo it. Here's why that matters. Your brain has an internal clock, the circadian rhythm. It's set by light, not alarms, not coffee, light. When you step outside within the first 30 minutes of waking, even for just 5-10 minutes, that sunlight tells your brain to cut melatonin, the sleep hormone, and raise cortisol just enough to boost alertness in a healthy way. That simple act anchors your whole rhythm, from your energy during the day to the quality of your sleep at night. And no, phone light doesn't count. That blue glow from Instagram in bed, it confuses your brain into thinking it's midnight, not morning. Clouds don't cancel this out either. Daylight is still 100 times brighter than your indoor bulbs. The simplest fix, step outside. Coffee in hand if you want, walk the dog, or just stand on the porch. I've seen patients who couldn't shake their morning brain fog completely turn it around with this one habit. It's free, it's quick, and honestly, it works faster than your espresso. I wasted weeks trying to force myself into 6 a.m. boot camps, burpees, heavy weights, heart rate through the roof, and by lunch I was wrecked. Couldn't focus, needed a second coffee, sometimes even a nap. I thought I was being disciplined, but I was actually burning myself out before the day even started. Here's the truth. Mornings are about priming your system, not maxing it out. After 7-8 hours of lying still, your circulation is sluggish, joints are stiff, blood sugar regulation isn't fully online yet. Slamming your body with high-intensity workouts at that point spikes cortisol and leaves you drained instead of energized. What works better? Gentle movement. 10 to 15 minutes of walking, stretching, mobility drills, or body weight exercises. Nothing extreme, just enough to get blood moving, oxygen flowing, and your nervous system awake. Think of it as turning the engine on and letting it warm up, not flooring the gas pedal while it's still cold. And if you're a morning gym person, fine. But don't make your very first movement of the day a sprint or a deadlift max out. Warm up with light mobility, a quick walk, even yoga sun salutations before you hit intensity. Patients who swap all or nothing workouts for a lighter morning routine usually notice two things: steadier energy through the day and less joint stiffness long term. It's not about doing less, it's about doing the right kind of movement for the time of day. Step 4. Protein-rich breakfast. I used to grab a bagel and orange juice on my way to the hospital. Quick, easy, felt like fuel. 90 minutes later, I was starving, shaky, and reaching for a granola bar. Sound familiar? That's not just hunger, that's a blood sugar crash. Here's what's happening. Foods like cereal, muffins, toast, or juice spike your blood sugar fast. Your body pumps out insulin to bring it down, and by mid-morning, you're not just hungry, you're irritable, foggy, and craving more sugar or caffeine. It's a roller coaster, and plenty of people ride it every single day without realizing why they feel so drained. The fix? Protein. A solid 20-30 grams within the first couple hours of waking. That could be eggs with avocado, Greek yogurt with nuts, or a smoothie with protein powder. Protein slows digestion, keeps your blood sugar stable, and gives your brain the amino acids it needs to focus. Patients who switch to a protein-based breakfast often tell me they're shocked. Fewer cravings, steadier energy, and no 10 a.m. crash. You don't have to ditch coffee or carbs completely. Just anchor your meal with protein first. A small change, but it flips your whole morning chemistry in your favor. Step 5. Mental reset before screens. I used to wake up and check emails before I even brushed my teeth. Within minutes, I was stressed about problems I couldn't possibly fix until later in the day. By 7:15 a.m., my nervous system was already in fight-or-flight mode. And that's how a lot of us start our mornings. Reactive, overstimulated, and scattered. Here's the problem. When you go straight from sleep to screens, you hijack your brain's natural rhythm. Instead of easing into alertness, you flood it with dopamine hits from notifications, and stress hormones spike before you've even grounded yourself. Patients who live this way often describe feeling wired and tired, anxious in the morning, burned out by the afternoon. The fix is surprisingly simple. Build in a reset before screens. I'm not talking about an hour-long meditation retreat. Even 2 to 5 minutes makes a measurable difference. That might look like sitting with your coffee and doing deep breathing before you touch your phone, writing down the 3 things you actually want to get done that day, or just stepping outside and noticing your surroundings for a moment. Instead of diving into news alerts, neurologically this matters. A short pause calms the amygdala, resets the stress response, and improves focus for hours after. It's not about being spiritual. It's about giving your brain a buffer before the world starts yelling at you. When patients finally try this, the reaction is usually the same. Doc, I feel less rushed, even though I'm doing the same amount of work. That's because they're starting the day with control, not chaos. And that shift compounds over time. These 5 steps aren't just morning habits. They're anchors. They set the tone for your hormones, energy, and decision-making for the entire day. If you start grounded, your stress response is calibrated, your blood sugar stays steady, and your brain actually works like it should. I've had patients who tried fancy supplements, expensive gadgets, or intensive morning routines, but when they skipped the basics, nothing stuck. Coffee, green powders, and meditation apps won't rescue a day that begins with dehydration, low light, a blood sugar spike, and constant notifications. Think of mornings as the foundation. If it's solid, everything else, productivity, focus, emotional resilience, becomes easier. Skip one of these steps, and the chain reaction can quietly undermine you. Cravings, irritability, fatigue, and stress pile up without you noticing until it's too late. Honestly, that's why I push patients to start here first. It's not glamorous, it's not trendy, but small, intentional mornings compound into real changes. You'll eat better, handle stress better, and even sleep better the next night. And the beauty? It takes minutes, not hours, but pays off all day. If you found these 5 steps helpful, consider subscribing for more content like this one. Practical, doctor-approved ways to improve your health without overcomplicating things.